"Take off the cap." The words were barked by a TSA official working security at Los Angeles International Airport. The recipient of this curt order was my young son, Sean, who was brandishing a Batman baseball cap. Newsflash, apparently 11-year-old Canadians are responsible for a disproportionate amount of terrorism in the world, but I digress. In any event, the kid complied, and Dad, for a change, kept his XXL mouth shut. When you have a flight to catch, it's seldom prudent to perturb those ever so pleasant folks working airport security. Still, I felt compelled to return to the screening area once the family was safely seated in the departure lounge. And here's what I observed, folks. Some Muslim women breezed through the checkpoint without having to remove their headwear, the hijabs. How odd, if one can presumably stash a box cutter or a dollop of C4 underneath a baseball cap, surely an hijab can serve the same purpose. I approached a policeman standing guard and I politely asked him, why the apparent double standard? Well, he told me hijabs cannot be removed because, quote, that would be against their religion, end quote. I corrected the officer, noting there's nothing in the Quran that mandates the wearing of the hijab. Okay, he conceded, but it's a cultural thing or something. Yeah, that's right, or something. Then he said in a tone reminiscent of how a principal would speak to a 7-year-old, you see, sir, in America, Americans and people visiting America have rights. Oh, no argument there, officer, except for one small caveat. Surely there's a reasonable expectation that one's rights will be curtailed somewhat when one enters an airport. That's why we are prodded and poked and x-rayed when we proceed through security in the first place. That's why one can't enter an airport terminal brandishing a legal handgun. Well, the cop simply shrugged. I upped the ante. If those women had been wearing full face coverings, such as the burqa or the niqab, would they have been forced to confirm their identities by unveiling? Nope, came the reply. It's because that's a religion thing too, he said. By this point, folks, my jaw was now resting on the linoleum, reminding him that the vast amount of terrorism in the world today emanates from those shouting Allahu Akbar before pressing the detonator. The poor constable's face contoured as though he had just bitten into a sour lemon. Our conversation was over. Still, upon reflection, perhaps I got off easy. After all, I wasn't detained against my will and put through the ringer, which is precisely what happened to author David Jones at London's Gatwick Airport a while back. According to an article in The Telegraph, Jones placed his belongings into a tray to pass through the X-ray scanner when he spotted a Muslim woman in a full niqab waltzing through the security checkpoint without showing her face. In a light-hearted aside to a security official who had been assisting him, the 67-year-old man said, quote, if I was wearing this scarf over my face, I wonder what would happen. Oh dear, red alert. Jones was promptly accused of racism and sequestered. An airport security guard, a British Airlines official, and even a policeman all agreed he had been insensitive with his comment and he needed to apologize. After being detained for almost half an hour, Jones issued a mea culpa. Otherwise, he was going to miss his flight to Portugal. But Jones also rightly noted this, quote, I had not made a racist remark, but purely an observation that we were in a maximum security situation being searched thoroughly, whilst a woman with her face covered walked through. I made no reference to race or religion, end quote. Amazingly, Department for Transport rules don't prevent people covering their faces at UK airports for, you got it, religious reasons. Bottom line, last month we observed the 12th anniversary of 9/11. How sad that whatever lessons we supposedly learned on that dark day back in 2001 already seem to have been sacrificed upon the altar of political correctness. For TheRebel.Media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies.